Did you know the team to score last has won the Super Bowl each of the last 13 years? If you're looking to enhance your big game betting experience, visit wt.buzz/SB57props for Wager Talk's annual party prop sheet, Ralph Michaels' historical prop betting result and betting tips from your favorite handicapper. And if you're looking to add some wagering entertainment for your gathering, download and print out Super Bowl party prop sheet, which features a number of easy to answer, easy to follow questions to keep everyone engaged from the coin toss to the final whistle. Follow Wager Talk on Twitter during the game as we tweet out the results as they happen. Visit wt.buzz/SB57props for all the details.
Hey guys, welcome in here to Wager Talk TV. This is another episode of Puck Time. I'm Andrew McGinnis, and I have Carmine Bianco and Don Buster joining me today, of course, in their usual Tuesday spot. We have 4 games to go over here. We have the Avalanche, Penguins, Kraken, Islanders, Golden Knights, Nashville Predators, and the nightcap with the Ducks and the Blackhawks, or I guess the last game we will be discussing, or as I used to call a game like that, the toilet bowl, the battle for last place, the battle for the number 1 overall pick, whatever you want to call it. That one's actually a pretty close game there between the Ducks and the Blackhawks. For myself, results last night, it was a 1-1 night. However, my 4% cashed on the Islanders and a 1% loser on the first period play with the Wild. So plus 3% yesterday in the NHL. I'll take that any day of the week and move on to today. But it was an interesting return to the NHL, Carmen. I want to ask you, is there anything you learned, anything you liked and didn't like as far as last night's NHL action goes?
And good play on that Islanders one. I had that as well, too. What I liked about last night's action, I liked that the Florida Panthers scored 7 goals. It is going to be a big second half of this season for them, or the last 30 games of the regular season for them. So I like that. I like the fact that we saw some really big and clean hits on the ice. It reminded me of the Scott Stevens days for New Jersey. If you kept your head down in the neutral zone, he was going to make you pay for it. So I really liked seeing those. What did I hate? I hate the fact that I think Video Review got it wrong in the Rangers game, giving Calgary that goal that tied it up at 3. This whole skate thing, whether it's kicked or directed into the net, I think anytime it doesn't go off your stick and into the net or a body part, if it goes off your skate, it should never be allowed. Maybe I'm still sour, Andrew, because of the Buffalo Sabres and Brett Hall, his skate in the blue zone and during the Stanley Cup. So I'm a little sour there. I hate the fact that the NHL statistics guys took the third shot away from Jamie Benn, which turned my win on the over 2.5 shots into a loss. That was his 1,000th game. You couldn't give him that third shot on goal that you guys took away from him. And what was I surprised about? I was surprised that the Anaheim Dallas game stayed under the total of 6. That game was back and forth, a ton of chances, and the final XG numbers in that game, 5.49 for Dallas, 2.98 for Anaheim, 8.5 goal expected goals in that game, and it ends 3-2 in a shootout. This is one of those ones where you're on the right side with the wrong result. So that's what I was surprised about. I'm also surprised that Buster showed up on time today, and he's looking good. Buster, how you doing?
Well, as you know, I'm not the one that doesn't show up on time all the time. I'm always here Tuesdays. I'm not always here on Tuesday. Well, actually, I am always here on Tuesday for the most part. And in saying that, I won't be here next Tuesday. But that's unfortunate. I shouldn't be laughing. I have an unfortunate situation that I must have to go back to what I'd like to call that little bit of a freezing hellhole called Canada. So I'm not looking forward to that. But in saying that, Carmine, I was at that game in Buffalo that night with the infamous hole and kick in the net. And I totally agree with you, Carmine. Because like yourself, I'm old school. I remember back before the puck hit your skate, it was no goal, period. There wouldn't be all this time checking shit was directed in, blah, blah. It hit your skate, that was it. No goal. They should go back to that, save everybody a lot of aggravation a lot of time. But you picked three out of 4 good games tonight to go through, and looking forward to talking some hockey after a little bit of a break. And I'm glad I didn't waste any of my time watching that shit All-Star game. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, and listen, I just want, I just think if the rules are defined, it makes it so much easier because at the end of the day, it is the fans or the bettors on which side of that decision that are going to either be happy or be pissed. Have a definitive rule. If it's off the skate and into the net, then it is no goal. Because this is what happens: is it goes to video review, and you are now at the mercy of a decision that is made in Toronto on whether it is a goal or not. And if you're a bettor that doesn't want a goal, you're going to disagree when they when the decision goes against you, or vice versa. So definitive rules. It's like VAR in soccer. It is a definitive rule. If the guy is offside, whether it's 2 inches or whether it's a foot, an offside is an offside. So yes, I am the old man yelling at the clouds on this one, but it is what it is, to use an old adage. So I will go back to you, Mr. Andrew McInnes, our fearless leader. Take us into the 4 games.
If I can, I just want to say one.
That's beautiful.
It's pretty perfect. It's pretty perfect. I gotta love that. But
should have had that about 5 years ago.
One thing that I'll say I learned. No. It's quite amusing. One thing I'd say I learned is just that sometimes things are the way that they were before the All-Star break. Just the same way, people create all these theories about overs after the All-Star break, or unders, or road teams, or home teams. You can create every theory you want, but it's only a theory. I like to bet on certain situations post All-Star break or pre All-Star break, or all this different stuff. I mean, a lot of people, they lean towards the Coyotes yesterday because they're playing well at Mullet Arena and it's post All-Star break. They easily could have lost 5-1, and those people would have looked stupid. And a lot of people that liked overs in every game felt pretty darn good at the start of the NHL night, and then the unders came into play. So what I really learned is the trends aren't always your friend. Creating these theories aren't always. It's a game by game process. I don't like hearing people say, I'm going to bet all overs tonight, or I'm going to bet all unders tonight, because every single game is its own game and entirely. And I think that last night kind of proved that. But what a crazy, crazy one that was there with Florida and Tampa. Always lives up to the hype that game does. That's for sure. All right. Speaking of hype, for me personally, especially being from the Far East Coast here in Nova Scotia, I love when Sidney Crosby and Nathan MacKinnon go head-to-head, the Penguins and the Avalanche. It's always a good game when these two teams meet. And as you see here, we have -110 apiece here across the board for both the Penguins and the Avs. Totals at 6.5. The puck line +215 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Carm, I'll go right to you for your thoughts here on this matchup. Colorado, they were injured. They were banged up for quite a bit, but they're slowly but surely getting their lineup back to where they want it to be. In Pittsburgh, all they can preach right now in their dressing room is consistency. That's what they want from their players. They know what they're capable of doing, but can they do it each and every night? What are your thoughts here on this matchup?
Yeah, Andrew, look, first of all, as far as the numbers go, this game really hasn't moved at all. I think it opened at 115 for the Penguins. It's at 110, -110, split both ways. But we stated it, Colorado. I still believe Colorado's going to be fine. I said it earlier. I said if you could get the price, when I was in Vegas for the divisional and the football divisional playoffs, Colorado at Caesars was +900 to win the cup. I'm like, how could I not take this? This is a team, because they were out of a playoff spot at the time, but they're also missing 2 of their key components. Makar was missing, and Landeskog was missing, and I think McKinnon was missing as well too. So this team was going to be fine, and fine they are. You look at them; they put a nice little run together. I get it. Pittsburgh's a very good home team, but they're also a team that had a very good run and showed a bit of regression heading into that All-Star break. And That last game they played was a game in which I think I had the 5% play on the over in that game, and it was done at the end of the second period. I didn't even have to watch the third period. It end up losing to the Sharks in that game 6-4. Listen, Colorado's put together a nice little run. What are they, 8-1 or 7-1? 7-1 their last 8 games. That one loss kind of a surprise coming to the Ducks on home ice. But this Avs team is about to put together a nice string of games, and it's a real buy low price on them. I want to take them. It's still a goaltending issue in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh, you have to believe after what happened to Pittsburgh in the playoffs last season, where they literally their goaltending was held together by duct tape. They went to Louis Domingue in that series against the Rangers. You can't have the injuries that this team has right now. Tristan Jarry and DeSmith is in net. They've got to go out and get another goalie if they want to make if they want to make the playoffs, but if they want to make a run into the playoffs, they need to get another goalie in. They've got to be a buyer over the next 5 weeks. DeSmith in net. Give me the Avs. Buster, where are you going on this one?
Totally agree with you. DeSmith and net, give me the Avs, but I will elaborate a little bit more on the total and the Avs here. As you talked about, Carmine, these are two teams, to me, that are going in different directions. Pittsburgh's lost 4-6. As you said, Colorado have won 7 out of 8, getting almost everybody back. They're looking really, really good. No doubt about it. I'm actually a little shocked that Colorado isn't at least maybe 125 here. I think that would be more of a proper price, but glad it's 110. I already gave it out to my clients. Like the over here as well. I'm not sure. It's been a week since these guys played, so we might not see much defense. And Pittsburgh hasn't played well defensively. Their last game, lost to San Jose, I think it was 6-4. That was ugly. It could have been like 7-6 game too. Actually, the over is 6-2 and won the last 9 at home for Pittsburgh. And although Colorado has played really good defense, again, that's why I actually kind of like this as a little bit of a correlation game, taking Colorado and the over, just in case, Pittsburgh actually does score a bunch of goals, and then, Colorado could win 5-4, 6-3, something like that. And if not, at least you got Colorado. If Colorado beats them 4-1, 5-1, you have that as well. So at least you split kind of. Because Pittsburgh at home, they have been scoring some goals. They've almost averaged 5 goals a game in their last 4 games. Not sure if they're going to be able to do this against a very good Colorado defensive club. This is the first game between both these clubs this year. Colorado won both last year, so that's good if you like Colorado, if you ask me. Again, surprised with that number. I actually like this, as I said a little earlier. I like Colorado more than the over, but give me Colorado and the over in this one.
Awesome stuff, Buster, and it's going to be a great game, guys. I'm looking forward to it. I think that when you see a matchup like this, sometimes you almost you get more interested in these ones because, like you just mentioned, you don't see these two clubs play each other that often, right? You don't see it countless times a year like you do with teams that are in the same division. For me, unfortunately, as much of a great game this is going to be, I do not have a play on the side. I'm going to just rock with the over for a lot of the same reasons that you guys just said there. I did just see a tweet before the show went live that it looks like Kapanen will be playing tonight. I think he will be moved off the injury list there. So that will help out the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, I think their offense is going to start gelling. I still do think they are a pretty deep team, but I just don't trust this defensive core that they have. I think they're a little bit slow. I think their puck retrieval skills aren't great. They don't get the puck out of their own end. And that speed from Colorado seems to be back in action right now. It seems like the way they're getting up and down the ice, the way they're transitioning from defense to offense is really impressing me. And, I think that Colorado's defense, again, just like last year, they've kind of been getting caught up a little bit as well. Let's be honest here, guys. The defenseman for Colorado sometimes plays like a fourth forward. And when that happens, that can set you back and lead to 2-on-1s the other way. I do think we could see goals in this one, as much as it is the high total here with 6.5. Both clubs are capable of it. And also, this one is most certainly worthy of some props. So I think I'll definitely have some props for tonight. I'm going to be tweeting some out at McGinnis Picks on my Twitter. You guys can check that out. But this is a game that should be very tight, should have lots of shots on goal, and definitely be worth a good prop night as well in this one. But I do like the over. I think both teams can get up and over together. Buster, before I go to you for the next game, I do want to bring up a promo we have going on for you over at Sports Memo. We do have a buy one, get one with your college basketball season and NHL season. I know you're not just a hockey guy. I know you do hockey, you do golf, you do a lot of different stuff, basketball, football. This is an NHL plus college hoops BOGO special. Buy one, get one for free. Guys, check out Buster over at sportsmemo.com. Doing great work there. 30-day NHL and college hoops pass. So, Buster, hope you have a great season in both. And, man, college basketball is getting to the fun part, man. It's heating up. Last night was fun, and it's only going to get better. This is my favorite time of year for college basketball, and I think it pretty much is for everybody as well. But, guys, use that for Don Buster. His short link is below his name there on his graphic. You'll see it when we go to him in just a second. But let's jump into the next one here with the Seattle Kraken and the New York Islanders. The Islanders playing second half of a back-to-back. Like I mentioned, I was pretty happy with their win yesterday. Despite it ended up being a little bit sweaty, they got the job done. And again, back-to-back games here. We're talking about on puck time. We got minus 110s across the board. Another great game here on a Tuesday night. Seattle coming into town with a total at 5.5. The puck line minus 1.5 is plus 225. And I'll put it like this. Somebody commented yesterday, and I had to address it because they pretty much said, Andrew, the last time you put Seattle in your sell list, they went on an 8-game winning streak or something like that. And I owned it. I was like, you know what? You're right. They did. They went crazy the last time I did it. But Buster, I don't think Seattle's a bad team. I simply think that they might have been playing a little bit above their heads. And you know I'm not much of an analytical guy, but the numbers even say that their shooting percentage and all that a little bit higher than they should be. What do you think here in this spot, Buster? And does it matter to you at all? The Islanders already have a game under their belt.
Yeah, interesting. And you can look at that either way, I guess, if you really want to, because, there's a thought process that there. I think actually the next there's 3 teams tonight that are in that same. They played last night, and now they'll be playing tonight. And for me, when I see stuff like that, it's basically I look at what happened in that first game, because you can argue the case that, well, these guys got a game in, so they'll be playing a little bit better that second game because it was a long layoff and the other team has rest. Or you can argue, well, it's a back-to-back and they just had a long layoff. So I mean, I don't know either or. I like I said, I like to look back at the last game. And the last game for the Islanders last night, they had a battle against that Flyers club, a real hard-fought 2-1 victory. And that is why I like Seattle in this spot. And yes, Seattle, maybe analytically they're not playing the best, but as you know, I'm not the big analytical guy at all. Like, even with these shots on goals or good quality shots, I truthfully, you know what? To me, it's who's taking these shots, right? Is that all put into play if this guy who's taking shots and that? So I really don't look at that kind of stuff because I watch a lot of hockey, so that stuff doesn't matter to me at the end of the day. Seattle's won 7 of the last 8 on the road. Andrew, I'm not sure if I didn't realize that you took them as a sell team or buy team or whatever. I know you do some kind of thing on Mondays with that. I never had a chance to watch a show. But yeah, like Seattle here, I think just because they're good and rested and because what the Islanders did last night, right? They end up having a real tough game. 59 hits in that game. I mean, it was just a tough game. What you expect out of an Islanders-Flyers game. And now 24 hours later, they come home and have to play a Seattle team. That is a good hockey club. I am a little – if anywhere Seattle will start to regress, it's Marty Jones, right? We all know Marty Jones can he's been playing fantastic. I mean, I don't even know who this guy is. Last year, all 3 of us, we would be fading Marty every chance we could get. But this year, hey, things happen, right? And he's looking really good. They've already played one game. Seattle dominated the Islanders. I think at one point they had them in one of the periods with only 2 or 3 shots in the first 18 minutes. I think they picked that. Yeah, if I remember right, of course I watched most of that game. I'm not sure if I had Seattle, but I did watch a couple periods of that, and they dominated that game. So it makes me, again, I think it's just a tough spot for the Islanders here, even with a game under their belt. As far as the total, it's 5.5, and well, you know how I feel about 5.5, everyone. Although I really want no part of it, but I'll give you a little analysis. The under is 9-2-1 in the Islanders' last 12 home games. After an Islanders win, they're 7-1-1 to the under. If this game was not a back-to-back and just going through the regular season, I might even bet an under 5.5. But because of the situation, I want no part of this total. But I do like Seattle in this spot.
All right, Buster, looking towards Seattle, and I understand what you're saying there with that total. I think 5.5s have gone under quite a bit, actually. But in this one here with the back-to-back, I'd probably lean personally towards the over myself. Carm, you made a really good point yesterday on the show about some of these goaltenders that were in the All-Star game getting rest, and some of them, like Vasilevsky, jumping right back into play. Well, didn't really work out for Vasilevsky yesterday, but Ilya Sorokin sounded like he had a great time at the All-Star game. He got the night off yesterday, so it might be a back-to-back for the Isles tonight, but they get Sorokin between the pipes. What are your thoughts here on this matchup?
Yeah, the back-to-back, in all honesty, the back-to-back doesn't bother me because it's not a situation where it's back-to-back and then a team is playing 3 games in 4 nights or 4 and 7. They've had a break. A couple of the players went to the All-Star game, but again, it's more of a skills competition and a vacation for the most part. The Isles have been good this season in the second of back-to-backs. They're 9-4 this year in the 13 back-to-backs thus far this season. And like we talked about, Varlamov started yesterday in goal, so now you get their number one goalie in net for the second of a back-to-back against Seattle. I get it. Seattle won all 8 games in that road trip, came home, didn't fare as well, went to Edmonton right away and got and lost that one. I can't remember if they got blown out or not, but they hit the road, and this is a tough. This is the first of a 5-game road trip for Seattle, and their first 3 are absolutely killer games. They're going to play the Islanders here, who played a very good game last night, regardless who the opponent was in that game. It was Philadelphia. They played extremely well. They have to play the Islanders, the Rangers, the New Jersey Devils in a 4-day span. This is as tough as it gets. You're going to play 3 teams. 3 very good teams over a 4-day span. We'll see what they're made of, quite frankly, in these next 3 games. Because they'll finish it off with a game, I think, against the Flyers, and then they finish in Winnipeg before heading home. So, but the first 3 are absolutely killer for them. Marty Jones should be the goalie in net. And listen, this guy, we mentioned it earlier, he's having a very good season, but the team is playing extremely well. On the road, he's 13-2-1 on the road. Very good road record, but that's because also the team in front of him is playing extremely well. I don't like Seattle at all tonight. I think the Islanders, especially with that one move that they made, they just continue to move forward. And I don't think they're finished with trades thus far yet. They're going to make a run, a playoff run. And if Pittsburgh and Washington don't wake up, both those teams could be on the outside looking in, because you've got Florida and the Islanders who are going to start to string some wins together. And I want to jump on teams at the start of a streak as opposed to in the middle or at the end of a streak. So I'm taking the Islanders. It's also a free play that's up at Wager Talk. So give me the Islanders minus 110.
All right, Carm, looking towards the Islanders here at home, second game in 2 nights here. And one thing I'll say, guys, is that I don't like to overreact to a player too much. I try not to do the opposite and just kind of stay cool about a trade or something happening with the team. But I'll tell you what, I watched that entire game yesterday, and I think that Bo Horvat is going to bring a lot to this team, but not just for what he brings personally to the team as far as what he's doing offensively, but it almost will open up opportunities for other players, right? It's, same thing in any sport. Like Barzell scored a goal yesterday, Horvat didn't get a goal, but I'm telling you that Bailey and Barzal seemed to have more opportunities on the ice yesterday because it was more open. People were focused on Horvat, so there's more opportunities for the other players. Barzal was pretty much getting, double teamed every time he was near the puck. I mean, everybody would be going towards him, but now there's more options. There's more guys that have the ability to score, which I think will make things a little bit different. I do like the fact that Sorokin is in net tonight, and I'm not really too concerned about the back-to-back, but I would lean towards the over, guys. As much as I've been stressing the fact that these 5.5s have been going under, it's hard to argue, but maybe see some goals tonight, though. With the chemistry and Islanders already playing a game, and with Seattle, the way they shoot the puck. And also, I think I wanted to mention that Beniers, he's not playing. He's a guy that's a candidate for Rookie of the Year here, the Calder Trophy in the NHL this season. He's injured. Schwartz is injured. So Seattle a little bit banged up on the offensive side of things, but still a great team. Other than that, still lots of guys that are capable of scoring. I'll revisit this game in the best bet segment here in a short period of time. But let's go to Carm for the Vegas Golden Knights and the Nashville Predators. I'm looking forward to hearing what the guys have to say about this one. We've got a lot of really tight games here, as the odds are most certainly reflecting that, as you can see in the graphic there. -110 here for Vegas and Nashville. Total at 6, leaning towards the under. What do you think here in this one, Carm? I mean, is it a spot? You talk about getting on teams before streaks, right? Do you think that people are really down on Vegas right now? I mean, I've already been called out by our comment section on YouTube and Apple and Spotify for the fact that I'm just always picking on Nashville, apparently. But do you think that this Vegas team is just not playing to their capability right now? Or do you think that is who they are for the time being with the injuries they've suffered?
Well, first of all, you probably get you're given a hard time on those platforms because I think you called Nashville Vegas if you're Ned Flanders. So it could be something to do with that, Andrew. But give the team a little bit of respect. With that said, you didn't say that, but with that said, Andrew, this line, I'm just confused. I'm befuddled, to use a different word, by this line. It opened up at -120 for Nashville. So Vegas money has driven it down to, again, -110 both ways. Circa actually has Vegas as the favorites in this game, the only book on our live lines that has Vegas. And the reason it's odd is because you look at Nashville and, they went into the All-Star break having won 5 of their last 6, beating the Devils, the Jets, the Kings, and the Calgary Flames. Some very good teams there. And then you look at Vegas, they can't seem to score a goal. They've literally lost 4 straight. Jack Eichel gets called out. The people in Vegas are getting a dosage of what happened in Buffalo with Jack Eichel. He sort of disconnects sometimes. The guy, he's got a ton of talent, but he just disconnects from the team at times, and he's not having a very good run at it over the last few weeks for this team. I haven't looked at his stats, but I think he's failed to score in maybe 8 or 9 games. This is a team that has lost 7 of their last 8 games, and there's money coming in on Vegas thus far. I'm more in tune with taking the under in this game. Vegas has gone under the total 6 of the last 7 games is because they're not scoring any goals. It should be Thompson and Saros, the number ones for both team and goal tonight, because neither team plays tomorrow. So you don't have to worry about their number 2 playing tonight because they need their number 1 tomorrow. We should see the starters for these teams. I'm more in tune with, because I can't figure out the line and why the betting is coming in on Vegas, and maybe it is the right move, but I'm going to take the under in this game. Under 6 is my play here. Buster?
Well, Carmine, I kind of actually agree with the money coming in on Vegas. I like Vegas in this one, especially at 110. I know Vegas hasn't really played well at all, but I think we talk about this all the time after the All-Star break. There's teams that are going to have to step it up, and a lot of the better teams will. Is Vegas one of the better teams? Well, we're going to find that out this next month. That's for sure. They really need the break. They lost 4 straight going into the break. Nashville, they probably did not want to see that break. I think they were playing their best hockey that they played all year. They'd won 5 of their last 6. But you know what? Vegas has got Nashville's number. That's all you can say. They've won 5 of their last 6. Already beat them 5-4 this season. I know that was in Vegas, but still, I like Vegas here at that price. Yeah, I mean, it was even money. I think, like you said, Vegas is now getting people are betting Vegas. But as for the total, it's a tough one, real tough. 6 is the right number if you ask me. The over's gone 6 of 8 to the over these last 8 meetings between the clubs. But to me, this is kind of, I could see a 4-3 game just as easy as I could see a 3-1 game. Carmine mentioned Thompson and Sar's the net. So, I mean, yeah, you could see a very low scoring game in this. That's for sure. Really want no part of this total. But yeah, like Vegas in this one myself, I think you're going to see them get on a little bit of a run here.
This is the time in the NHL season that it's really exciting to find out, who are the contenders and who are the pretenders, who are the teams you can really take seriously. And all these games, they slowly start to add up, guys. And we're going to learn more and more each day, which is why on the show, kind of like Wager Talk today, Carm and I are going to start just discussing at the start what we learned from the night before, some takeaways that we had. And I think people out there watching will appreciate it because, you guys can share your thoughts in the comments section about the games before or the games that are going on tonight, because each night it's a chance for teams to prove themselves here. And I agree, Buster, that it seems like it's been a one-sided matchup between these two clubs. It seems like you're getting a pretty good price here on Vegas. I'm going to just stick with the under here, guys, in this game, actually. I think that we've seen 4 straight games go under for the Vegas Golden Knights. The Nashville Predators, I think that I will admit it. I've been wrong about this team this year for some of their games where they showed they have the offensive capability to put up numbers, but I still don't think they're that team, to get up and over, to get 7 goals, 8 goals in their games consistently. They're a team with a very good goaltender, a very big and stacked blue line with the great defenders, and some guys on offense that can put the puck in. So I think that this game has 3-2 written all over it, 3-1. I'm not going to pick a side. I just hope the under cashes. So Carm, I don't really know what the reverse on that Pavlo saying would be, but it'd be like, I don't care who wins. I just want a really shitty game. Give me the under, man.
No, I don't care who wins. I just want the under to come in. And that's, it works both ways for the over and the under. And, and us discussing moving forward, just for 2 or 3 minutes at the beginning of the show, what we liked, what we hated, what we were surprised about, the previous night is always a good thing. The one thing that always kind of irks me is where is when people talking about being on the right side, and they equate being on the right side with the team that won is the right side. That's not always true, and because there are sometimes there's forces at play, something that happens at the end of the game that turns a winning bet into a losing bet. We've seen it happen. The Dallas game last night, I talked about the expected goals at the end. The goalies stood on their heads, but the expected goals were 8.5 in a game that finishes 3-2 in a shootout. Don't change. Use websites like a Natural Stat Trick to check the stats the next day, to basically quantify or look at your plays from the night before and say, was I on the right play? Did it not go my way? And so forth. In an NFL game, at the end of the game, if the team is losing by 5 and they are +7 and they start to lateral the ball with no time left and the other team takes it into the end zone, you were unlucky. You had the right team. One stupid play decided whether you won or lost. This is the point I'm trying to make is, don't deviate from your plan in learning to bet this game by just taking your losses and saying, I was wrong. Let me move on to the next one. Actually look at the box scores the next day if you haven't watched the game and learn from it and sort of move forward. But that's not an old man yelling at the clouds moment, Andrew. That is just letting people know that if you want to get better at this game, just use stats, use analytics, and use the eye test, which is probably the most important to decide whether you are on the right or wrong side.
Yeah, I did a little video too about just a couple tips NHL betting, and yesterday I talked about recent form. I think it really is applicable on every single sport. You guys don't know how many times like I'll have like people just talk to me, or I'll be talking to buddies of mine. We're talking about like college hoops, for example, and they'll say, "Wow, this team is ranked this. Like the other team is ranked this. This has to be a blowout." Rankings don't mean anything. Standings don't mean anything. It's all about how they've played recently. What have you done for me lately? Is kind of what we all like to say. So I think that's definitely true when it comes to sports and kind of using that eye test. And I like what you said, Buster. That was kind of your rant moment when you said, "I don't do analytics. I watch the games." He's like, "I've got a bunch of TVs. I don't need to look at this stuff. I watch the game." So I respect it. I'm a watcher just like you. I learn the game through watching. It helps me with my handicap. And sometimes the analytics can tell you stuff you might not have seen, but when it comes down to it, it's nice to just watch the games and learn from there. And that's why I said that I think that Bo Horvat's going to fit in well with the Islanders, man, because I watched that entire game and that chemistry looked pretty good. Speaking of really exciting games, Buster, I know you're going to be cracking open some cervezas for this game. The Ducks and Blackhawks, game of the night here, man. The game we're all anticipating. What are your thoughts here as pretty much the Ducks play a back-to-back? The Chicago Blackhawks are just waiting to trade either Taves or Kane or both of them as these two teams go to head-to-head here, Buster. I'll put it to you first. Ducks and Hawks.
Okay, Andrew, I just actually want to make a quick comment. I know we're always up against the clock here, but since you and Carmine commented on this, the thing to me with all this analytics or whatever, I'll just give you, you talked about it with college basketball. I'll give you a perfect example. Last night, I have a college basketball game under. It's under. It goes to overtime. Guess what? What does analytics say? What is it? It doesn't really matter. When it goes to overtime, now it goes over, I lose my bet. As I've said on here for the last 4, whatever many years I've been on, it's great to do what Carmine says, to go check, because there's a lot of people trying to learn, and I think that's a great idea. But at the end of the day, it's your bankroll. You either win games, you lose games. How you win, how you lose really doesn't matter unless you are trying to learn the game, and I agree with Carmine in that point. But everything else, yeah, that's just the way it is. It's gambling. So anyways, let's get to this game. Talking about, I'm going to pick on Carmine again, because for the last 3-4 weeks, I would think, I've been giving him all kinds of praise for, he's been picking the best games. He picks the slate for us all the time. He's been picking the best games. And then I see this. Like, really, Carmine? There's 2 other games that you can take. Well, and just let everybody know, Edmonton, Detroit, watch out. Everybody wants to go bet Edmonton -160. Just be careful of that. Detroit's pretty good at home, and they've had a little bit of luck against Edmonton. But anyways, just shocking about that, Carmine. I would put this on here. So now I will give my insight on this shit game, and I will go through everything, because there are people that will want to bet it, and I can appreciate that. But I will go through my analytics like I do, because that's what I do. I won't just say I'm going to pass. And then I will tell you, please do not bet this game. There's better games to bet. Here we go. Back-to-back for Anaheim. Played a great game last night in Dallas. I mean, they came back. I thought they were going to win that game. They actually had a power play in overtime. And just Ottinger, it's Ottinger. He might do wonders for Dallas in these playoffs, because you need goaltending to win a cup. And actually, between 2 crappy clubs, Anaheim have won 4 of their last 6 games with that loss last night. Chicago, they do play better at home. They've won 4 of their last 7 games. So here's a couple bad clubs that play well, but again, a couple other better games to be talking about. Chicago's owned the Ducks, so they've won the last 8 games, including 3-2 this year. I'm not laying 130, 125, or whatever it is with a Chicago club. I mean, you can't do that. There's no way. As for the total, I think it was 6.5 when I saw it. I see up on the line here now, you got 6. Does that 6.5? It does look like a little bit of an under, but they're 2 crappy teams. And me, and I know Andrew, he looks at it the same way. We've been, you got 2 crappy teams, automatic over, right? Especially if there's some stats or trends or whatever for the over. Well, there are. They're 10-3 to the over the last 13 between the clubs, and the Ducks are 6-2 to the over on the road. I still don't want no part of the over. I don't want no part of the game. Hopefully, this will help people. because that's what I'm trying to do here on the show every week, is to try to help people with their bets. So there's my analysis for this game. Please do not bet it. On to you, Carmine.
Yeah, Buster, somewhere there's mid-major Matt from Sports Memo. He's just yelling right now saying, why can't we bet these games? Why can't the mid-major games? Why can't the bottom of the pack games be bet? I mean, if you find a wager, why not? If you've got a East Coast Hockey League wager for me and you give me enough reasons tonight, I'll put my money on it. I don't have to bet Panthers versus Lightning. I didn't even want to bet that game because the game I thought was too close. Didn't turn out to be too close, but hey, it's not always the big games of the night that you have to bet. That's for sure. Carm, what do you think? Do you have anything you like here?
Yeah, I do. First of all, Andrew, I'm going to play this. It's the world's smallest violin for the crying that Buster did about this game. You can make money off of any game in the NHL. So I'm just going to throw some stats at you really quickly on this one. Anaheim Ducks played yesterday. The over this year in the second of a back-to-back for the Anaheim Ducks is 4-1-1 this season. Anaheim 0-6 in the second of a back-to-back this year. Stolarz should be starting in goal. His goals against average on the road this year, 4.11. Mrazek starting at home for Chicago. His goals against average at home this year, 4.53. All those numbers just point you to the over, and that's where I'm going to go. I don't need to pick a side here. I'm just going to take the total. Give me the over. That's good enough for me.
That's the thing is that when you look at this game, there's still money to be made, and I like those stats and that info there, Carm. I gotta ask you this on the spot here, Carm, because I actually can't remember where I look at this. Where do you check the road and home splits for goalies? Are you getting that on goalie posts, or where are you checking those?
No, hockey. Just head over to Hockey Reference, punch in the goalie's name, and then you go to splits, and you just hit 2022, 2023. Mrazek at home this season is 2-6 with a 4.53 goals against average and 861 save percentage. Now, mind you, he's not much better on the road. He's 3-7. But his goals against average is almost a full goal lower on the road at 3.65. So not the best season for this man who's 5-13-1 this year with a 4.05 goals against average. And this is a guy that the Leafs spent a lot of money on to bring in. Yeah. So kudos to Dumbass or Dubas or whatever his name is over there in Toronto.
I'll keep it short. I like the Hawks in this game. I think that the back-to-back is a bad situation for the Ducks, especially with the injury to Troy Terry. I think that'll hurt them quite a bit. And we still got a pretty good lineup there for the Hawks for the time being. Buster, over to you for what your best bet is and what you have going for clients tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. And I appreciate you promoting that package that I have up. Buy one for 1 month and get another month free in either NHL and college basketball. So you'll get a month of each. My NHL, from the beginning of the season, we've been just grinding. We're plus 69.45 units, number one at Sports Memo. And why are we? Because we're passing shit hockey games. That's why we've made a conscious effort to do that. But I do understand now that totals at 6. I don't blame you guys for betting it over. In college basketball, we had a bad start, but on the full season, from the beginning of the season in college basketball, now that we're in a conference play, we're plus 30.3 units. Go over, grab that package, only $179, and that gives you all our 5% plays. So go over to Sports Memo, or you could hit the deals topic at the top of the Wager Talker Sports Memo and grab that package. It expires next Monday. Our show play is going to be Tampa Bay, San Jose over 6.5, minus 120. Tampa Bay, just a no-show last night. And again, I actually think they're going to come out and score some goals. Elliott's going to be in net tonight. San Jose should be able to get their goals as well. Last 22 times these teams have been together, 16, 5-1 to the over. San Jose has gone just an over machine on the road. They went over the last 11 of 15. Give us the over 6.5 in the San Jose Tampa Bay game. Best of luck, everyone, today. And as always, Have a great day.
Always great seeing you, Buster. Best of luck with that play. Always good to see an over involving those teams. That's for sure. Carm, if you don't see me tomorrow on the show, it means I have been relieved of my hosting duties because this show is going way too long. But I'll go to you for your best bet and what you have going tonight.
Yeah, no, I know we've gone a little too long, and I've got to run out because I've got to get my my PVR replaced on my TV because I set it to record The Biggest Loser, and it keeps recording the Montreal Canadiens games. But with that said, let's get into our best bet segment here. Listen, I got a 5% play up in the NHL tonight. You can get it over at Wager Talk. We have a great deal, Andrew and I as well too, to get the rest of the NHL season with goal 199. And that'll get you the rest of the NHL season for 199. My best bet is going to be Tampa in the first period. I'm going to lay the half a goal. I'm going to get plus 110 on my money. They got absolutely blown out yesterday in Florida. I'm looking for them to bounce back at home where they have been absolutely unbelievable. 20-5 this season at home. Tampa Bay. We'll take them at plus money in the first period, laying half a goal. So Tampa minus a half plus 110 is your show best bet. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Gotta love those first period wagers, getting a nice plus price there on Tampa Bay from a big negative to a plus there. Tampa Bay first period puck line for Carmine. And guys, for me, my best bet on the show, we're going to rock with the New York Islanders here on the money line to get the job done. Second half of a back-to-back, I do not care. Great goaltender in Sorokin in net tonight. And Bo Horvat looks great in an Islanders uniform, playing very well for them. I feel like they'll get the job done tonight. Back-to-back nights here against the Seattle Kraken. Carmine with Tampa, Don Buster with San Jose and Tampa over, and I have the Islanders. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Did you know the team to score last has won the Super Bowl each of the last 13 years? If you're looking to enhance your big game betting experience, visit wt.buzz/SB57props for Wager Talk's annual party prop sheet, Ralph Michaels' historical prop betting result and betting tips from your favorite handicapper. And if you're looking to add some wagering entertainment for your gathering, download and print out Super Bowl party prop sheet, which features a number of easy to answer, easy to follow questions to keep everyone engaged from the coin toss to the final whistle. Follow Wager Talk on Twitter during the game as we tweet out the results as they